if you want to be a barrister, then you have to have yoga with the one who teaches you barristry. Yes, so if someone is teaching you, let's say you are studying in an engineering college, then you have to have yoga with the teacher so that whatever they teach gets imbibed in you. Yes. So Baba is giving this, Baba is explaining this law that if you don't have buddhi yoga with the teacher, then you cannot imbibe the knowledge. And Baba says now, Baba is teaching us Raj Yoga. So this knowledge will make us the king of kings, a Satyugi king. But we have to have yoga with the teacher. Now, what is yoga? So let me give you a very interesting example. So there is this girl and she came some days back to the center and she told me that I have a very strange problem. So whenever anybody says anything to me, I feel this compulsion to prove it to that person that, you're wrong and I'm right. And suppose they have an opinion about me and that opinion is not very good, then I feel this compulsiveness to, keep telling them something or keep conveying this message that I'm right. And until I have proven to them that I'm right, I cannot stay calm. So I have this compulsiveness to prove and to assert the opposite when somebody says something negative or has a negative opinion. So I told her that maybe in your history as a child, somebody did not give you validation. Yes, it could be one of your parents or both, or somebody in the family or somewhere where you didn't get validation. And they did not respect you for who you are. And then you had to prove it to them that I matter by attaining and achieving. And previously it was when you were young, it was because of good marks. So, when you got good grades, good marks, then that person started taking you seriously. And they started acknowledging that, you are important and you matter. And then slowly it became, having a job or having a good salary or having a promotion. So she said, yes, that's true and that's the case. So I said, now what happens is when somebody doesn't, again, they don't take your achievement or attainment also seriously. So previously somebody didn't take you seriously, but then they started accepting you or they started having appreciation for you because of your attainment and achievement. And now you are holding on to that attainment and achievement to feel a sense of, I am and I matter. And when somebody dismisses that, somebody says, your work is not great, or you're not good at it, or maybe you're not very skilled, or there is a problem with your skill, then you cannot take it because that's very important for your identity. That's what your identity is based on. And then you feel this urge to prove it to them and take back your, respect. So your respect is coming from their acknowledgement, and when they don't acknowledge you, you feel disrespected, and then you have to fight to make them respect you again, and only then you can have self-respect. So this is how it is working. And then I asked her one simple question. But don't you think that, you have a younger sister, and tomorrow when she comes and asks you what is the way to be respected in the world, you will say attainment and achievement. But if you go back, you hated the idea while growing up, you hated this idea that somebody did not respect you because you were not an achiever. Yes, so somebody did not respect you because you were an achiever, because you weren't an achiever at that time, and that idea hurt you a lot. But today you are in the trap of that same idea. So today you are that same person you hated. And tomorrow you will do this to other people also. You will instill in them through your words, through your drishti, that you do not matter until you have good grades, and until you do a job, or until you have a promotion or a certain salary. You don't matter. This is what you will instill in other people also. And she said, now that you're saying it, I am very aware that yes, I have this idea, and whenever I see somebody who is not doing well, yes, according to the social standards, when I see somebody not getting the marks or not clearing an exam, I do not have respect for them. And so I was trying to drive this point that you become the one you hate also, because you have your buddhi yoga with them, because your heart is. So if you want to understand buddhi yoga in a simple language, wherever your heart is, your buddhi yoga is there. And the sign of where your heart is, there is your remembrance. So you become like the one you remember. And sometimes we think that when we don't like somebody, then it is so it is okay not liking somebody. But when you like somebody, when you don't like somebody, both are a form of attachment. And when your heart is attached to somebody, then you start remembering them. And when you start remembering them, they start playing on your mind. And then all their state of mind, their belief systems, their philosophies, they all start becoming part of you. Because you start thinking like them, you start behaving like them. And it is so sad that, a child is sensible enough to understand that I matter, even if nobody acknowledges it. I remember as a 3-year-old child, 2-year-old child also, I knew I matter. So every child knows I matter. And then, you are dismissed. You are told that you don't matter until you do this, until you get that, until this happens. And then you start playing along, and then you also start thinking that they are right and you don't matter until. And then it starts as a reaction, but then it becomes part of your own programming. And then slowly, gradually, nobody else has to tell you that you don't matter until this happens. You start telling yourself that I don't matter until I reach here and reach there and get this and get that. And then you start telling that same thing to others also, that you don't matter until you do this, until you get that. And this is how the vicious cycle of ego gets perpetuated. And it is not just confined to ego. It is a matter of every vice. And these vices, when we connect our heart, our buddhi yoga to vicious ones, then we also start becoming vicious, and those vices start ruling our intellect and our thought processes, our vision, our drishti, everything starts becoming vicious. And this is why Baba says, now you have to connect your heart to me. It is only I, the ocean of peace, the ocean of purity, the ocean of love, that should play on your mind. It is only my knowledge that should keep your buddhi engaged. You should only see me, hear me, talk about me, walk according to my direction. Just do everything in and around me. And Baba says, when you start doing this, when you start understanding, I am a soul and this is the one I belong to. And then you start thinking about me, churning my knowledge, keeping my company, yes, feeling how I would talk to you in this situation. If you just keep doing this, then slowly, gradually, because you are having this buddhi yoga with me, you will become like me. So you will also start imbibing the knowledge, the virtues that are there in me. And this is a very important thing to understand, because sometimes you think that when you are attached, then attachment is so attachment is when you think you like somebody or love somebody. But even when you think you hate somebody, that's also attachment. And that attachment also connects your buddhi yoga with that person. And you see that in a family, sometimes, the mother is very sweet and the father is very, always wagging a stick and being very strict and this and that. And the child says they love the mother and they hate the father. Sometimes they would say that. But you end up becoming like the father, not the mother. So you think you hate your father, you think you love your mother, but you become like your father, not like your mother. Because you are not thinking about your mother, you're always thinking about your father. You're thinking about what they said, what they did, how can they, how couldn't they, and then all of that starts becoming part of you. This is why love wisely, hate more wisely. Because if you don't have the wisdom to love and you don't have the wisdom to hate, then both of them can make you end up in a soup. Because in both the cases, your hearts are connected to that one, and then they start having an effect on your personality. And now Baba says that there is no place for hate in our life, and there is only place for love, and love also, wise love, knowledgeful love with the one Father. And when there is love for one Baba, not just one Father, but he has all relationships with us. So he is my father, teacher, Sadguru, mother, brother, surgeon, beloved, everything. So Baba says, that is who I am. Have love for me, listen to me, think about me, remember me, do everything with me. And then you will be colored in my company. And this is the most beautiful thing that Baba says today. And then there is another thing that Baba is pointing out, which is the third eye. Baba says that in the world, everybody is unhappy because they don't know the Father. And when I come, I give you the third eye. And that eye gives you vision and intellect. So Baba says, in the world, people have no vision and no intellect. And there is a song today, show the path to the blind ones, dear God. Nainheen ko raha dikhao Prabhu. And Baba says that in this world, people don't have the third eye, which is the buddhi and the vision through which you see things. And you see that the third eye which Baba gives us, which is the eye of knowledge, this third eye enables us to see that which was very clear but which we couldn't see earlier. So let's take some examples. So the buddhi or the third eye makes you see the incoherence which you couldn't see earlier. So distinguishing between logical and illogical, coherent and incoherent is an aspect of the buddhi. Now, what do I mean by coherent and incoherent? So the first thing is coherence between what am I thinking, what am I speaking, and what am I doing. Yes, so that is the coherence we want to check first. So our thought, words and actions are incoherent. Yes, and Baba gives us the buddhi to see that. Yes, so let's take one example. You say, I love you, and then you beat up that person. That is incoherent behavior. How can the one who loves beat you? So how can you beat the one you love? Yes. And then these days that has started stretching too far, and you're killing the one you love in the name of love. So this is incoherent behavior. So we cannot see that how can I say I love you and how can my actions be that I beat someone up. And this is such an act of the blind intellect that you're not able to see it until Baba shows you. So until we come to Baba, it looks like the most logical thing to do, that you beat up the one you love. Yes, and when Baba comes, he tells us that no, you don't beat up the one you love. You love the one you love. You motivate them, you encourage them, you teach them. Yes, you show them the path. you don't beat them up. You beat them up because of anger, not because of love. But we can't see that. And there was this session the other day. It was a session for new souls, and in that gathering, when I said that Baba is the ocean of love, God is the ocean of love, then how can He give you sorrow? He can never give you sorrow. Then one person in the gathering said that no, even a parent beats up the child because he loves the child. So for the good of the child, you beat them up. And then I told them, no, it's not like that, that you beat up somebody because you love them. You beat up because you are an angry person, you have the sanskar of anger, and you are disguising that sanskar of anger as love. So that's your sanskar of anger which is driving you to beat that child. It's not love. And there is this beautiful thing that one sister shared with me once. She said that, so all children are very sweet and sensitive. So when we are 2, 3, 4, 5 years of age, we are very sweet and very sensitive. And she said that I was very sensitive as a child, and I always thought that nobody should get troubled because of me. And you see, as children we think like that. We want to help everybody, we want to make everybody comfortable. There was this one child who once came to the center, and I gave him toli, and his mother and father were busy at that time, and his mother and father had not taken the toli. So he waited until they took the toli, and he didn't say anything. He just sat with that toli. He didn't eat it. He kept observing whether his mother will get a toli or not, because he had in mind that if my mother is not given a toli and it is only for children, then I will give my mother a piece of it. And if I have eaten it up, then I can't give it to her. So he just sat there and he waited until his mother and father had taken the toli, and then when they had been given the toli, he started eating. And then I asked him, why did you wait? Why didn't you eat your toli? So he said, no, nothing. So then his mother said, Didi, whenever he is given anything first, he will look around and see whether, I or his younger brother or his father have been given the same thing. And if they have not been given, then he will come and share. And he will say, I am not hungry. He will say, I am not hungry, so you have this. He will never say that you have not been given, so have this. But we have seen that when everybody has it in their plate, he will eat happily. But otherwise, he'll come and say, I am not hungry, you have this. So you see, children are so sensitive, and they are sensitive to other people's needs. They are sensitive to how other people around them are feeling. And then what happens is, so that sister was sharing with me that when I was a little child, then I had this concern that everybody around me should never get disturbed. And then in the night, I felt like going to pee, and then I felt that everybody is sleeping, and if I wake them up, they might get disturbed. So I went, and the bathroom was outside. So I just opened the door and I went alone, but it was very dark. So I felt scared to step into the bathroom. So I peed outside the bathroom. And then when my father got up in the morning, he got very angry that I peed outside the bathroom. And then what he did is he beat me up a lot. And he scolded me and he said, "Why couldn't you wake any of us?" And that left such a big scar on me. And I kept wondering because I couldn't understand why I was getting beaten up. I was very little. And then it left me so scarred that I never felt that I always had this fear of people. And I sought attachment and I had fear. And because of Baba, yes, I'm healed a lot now. But this kind of damage, so just imagine the things that we do in anger. And you see, for the last 2 3 days, Baba has been cautioning us against anger. And Baba says scolding, shouting, anything, any form of anger is not what you do and it's not warranted. And why? Because this anger is this, you don't get angry because of anything, and that anger is not doing any good to anyone or anything. The only thing that that anger is doing is a lot of damage. But you are doing, and you are engaging in anger in the name of righteousness. You are engaging in anger in the name of love. These days, in the name of love for the nation, love for the religion, love for the community, love for this, that, and the other, you are engaging in acts of violence. And that is not love. So get this very clear: the one who loves doesn't speak, think, or act from anger. So, and you see, when I was little, I was probably, 7 or 8 years of age, and I clearly remember we were watching a movie, and in that movie, there was this one person who killed his wife to get married to the other woman. And they plotted and planned, and he killed his wife and got married to the other woman. And then I asked my father, why did he kill her? So my father said, because he loves her. So I said, can you kill and love? So if he can kill her, he can kill her also. So then my father says, no, but it's like this in the world. So I said, no, but it can't be like this. And then I got up and I didn't like that movie. So you see that this is how it is. These things are taught to us in so many subtle ways. So when in a video, in a movie, in a news or anything, we are the news also is like, for the love of one he killed the other. It's not said that because of his anger he killed this one. And it is portrayed like, you can kill for love, but you have no love in your heart if you can kill, or killing is a very big thing. You have no love in your heart, nothing in your soul left if you can abuse, shout, scream, be rude. That's not love. So Baba makes us see that. Baba makes us see these things. Baba says these things which are so obvious that love and hate can't go together. Yes, and it's not like, and Baba says you are one soul. If you have love in your heart, there can be no hate for anyone whatsoever. And if there is hate, and how is hate there? So sometimes, people will say, I said this, but I don't hate you. But how can you say this if you don't hate? So, it's your own mind that is expressing itself. So, sometimes people say that in a fit of rage, I am saying this, but I don't mean it. But actually, in a fit of rage, you are expressing what you really mean. So when you are not in a fit of rage, you are camouflaging it, but that's there in your heart. That's why in a fit of rage that can come out. Yes, and I heard the other day, there was this one brother and he got angry with his mother, and then he said, I am taking care of you, I am feeding you, I am doing this, I am doing that. So the mother is old, and then the mother said, why didn't you tell me? I would have left the house. So I have my property, I will go and servants will take care of me, I can move out. So he said, no, no, I didn't mean it. So the mother said, no, you didn't say it. You didn't say it until today, but you always meant it. Because if you didn't mean it, it wouldn't be on your mind. So, sometimes you deceive yourself by saying that what we speak in anger is not true, but it's there in your heart. That's why you're speaking it. So clean your heart. Yes, so don't stay under the illusion that it's because of anger that I said this. No, anger made that come out, but it's there in your heart. So there are so many things which are there inside us which we need to look deeper and discern and change, and not keep fooling ourselves that I'm not like this and not like that, and I'm doing this for love and it was a mistake, but I'm not like that. No. So Baba says there has to be coherence between your thought, word and action. Yes, and if there is a word which is bitter, then know that the thought behind it is very bitter. And if the action is bad, then you must know that the seed is bad. Don't fool yourself that the action is beating up, but the intention is good. It cannot be like that. If the action is causing sorrow, then the intention behind it cannot be noble. So this simple coherence we are not able to see until Baba gives us the divine intellect. And Baba says, and about other things also, yes, happiness. So people these days say that when I am happy, I listen to sad songs. Yes, or sad songs make me feel very happy. How can that be? Yes, so whatever you are, if you're listening to sad songs, obviously you are, reveling in nostalgia, and you are, what do you say, refreshing those sorrowful memories, but you are so sadistic that you feel that that is happiness. And there is this, thing, sadism, which is a very big reality. And the other day there was this one girl, and she told me that she left the dog with the servant, and the servant, and then she checked the video camera, the CCTV camera, and she saw that the servant was beating up the dog, and he was getting very entertained by beating up the dog. So he was torturing the dog, and he was feeling very happy. He was dancing in happiness after troubling the dog. And then I was just thinking about this, and I asked someone, why do you think that somebody would beat up the dog, and why would they do this? So why would anybody beat up somebody who is defenseless? So then they said that this is a sadistic tendency. So this is the sign of sadism, and feeling pleasure from pain, and all the movies that you're watching, and where there is a fight sequence and there is violence, and people are very interested in watching molestation scenes and this and that. So all that is the violence within. Yes, and basically these days people are expressing it as happiness. So, when they come out of the theater, they will say it was a wonderful movie and then they liked it very much. But what did they like? The violence. So, if violence is making you happy, you are a very sadistic person. But do we recognize the sadism inside us? Yes, and that is what we are not able to see. This difference between what am I feeling and what am I saying and what am I doing, and then you say that you want a happy life, you are all for happiness, but you are not creating happy thoughts, you're not focusing on the happy things. And if and it's very strange. I have seen four people from one family will come and they will all individually say, I'm the one who wants happiness, and four of them together they are making each other's life miserable. Then who is the one who doesn't want happiness? So you are four people under one roof, and you are such monsters that you are able to make everybody's life hell, and then you are all in for happiness. Then who is the one making it miserable? So we are saying we want happiness, but the only kind of happiness we understand is that which we get from putting other people down or troubling others or making them feel lesser, or I don't know what. So Baba says that this is what you want to see. If you are somebody who is wanting happiness, create happy thoughts, speak words which give happiness, which make you feel happy, and engage in acts of happiness, acts that lift someone up, not put somebody down. How can you put someone down? How can you loot, cheat, and do stuff and be happy? So there has to be coherence between your thought, word, and action. Yes, and then the most important thing is you want to be happy, but you don't want to come to Baba, the ocean of happiness, every day. So if you don't listen to the Murli, if you don't meditate every day, how will you get happiness? So Baba makes us see these logic, this simple logic that we fail to see when we are blinded by ego and vices. So this is some points of the Murli. The Murli is very beautiful today. Go through it and note other points that you feel touched your heart, and maybe we can discuss them later. Om Shanti.